I believe that any animal who survived into their senior years should win a gold medal. And since we don't give gold medals out to dogs and cats, I think the one thing that we can make sure that they have is a good end of life. That's why Saints is here, because these animals, they deserve this. There are far too many seniors and special needs animals without homes. And many of them are not ever going to find homes. The reality is that people aren't adopting senior animals, but I think we can change that. Services that we have to help animals are geared towards healthy, adoptable animals that we can find new homes for. The seniors, the elderly, there's no place for them. The shelters cannot keep them in cages for the rest of their lives. They can't afford it, and they don't have the space. They're not adoptable. They don't want to euthanize them, and so Saints becomes the option for them. My name's Carol Hine, and I'm the Executive Director of Saints Senior Animals in Need Today Society.
You get a half of one because you're old and wrecked. Hug on! I have no more cookies.
We started Saints in December of 2004. Saints is a sanctuary for seniors and special needs animals.
She came in from the pound and she's got long-term skin issues. Her skin is just ruined.
Our animals don't find homes in traditional shelters. Pretty much any kind of domestic animal. Cats, dogs, rabbits, sheep, cows, horses, ducks, chickens. We have a turkey, which is a new experience. Mostly seniors. But we do take special needs animals, so we do have younger animals that are special needs, and they're not adoptable either because of profound physical problems or they might have some mental or emotional issues. Saints is like a long-term care facility. There's a lot of medications that are given. A lot of the animals are on several different kinds of medications, and they get them several times a day. We understand the aspects of aging and different medical issues that they come with.
I need a voice. Oh my God.
We have enormous amounts of patience for the things that happen to the elderly as they continue to age, the dementias, the incontinence, the illness. The financial commitment here is huge. Monday to Friday, we have to have paid staff. On top of that, we have the medical costs of our animals, and because they are seniors and special needs, most of them have a lot of health issues. You're looking at a minimum of $1,000 to $2,000 just to make up for all the medical care that they haven't had for all these years, the dentals and the cardiac meds and the x-rays and the blood work, and getting them feeling well and getting them feeling comfortable. Daisy's a perfect example. She's a new dog in from one of the pounds, and she's come in needing a spay. She needed mammary tumors removed. She needed massive dental work done. She needed a bladder stone removed. So, it's a $1,500, $2,000 investment just as she comes in the door.
You ready, big gal?
Most people don't believe how old some of our animals are.
He's 17 years old, and look at him. I'm old, but I'm not dead. Hey, he's got lots of good in him.
Or how sick some of our animals are, because all the supports are there for them to feel as well as they can and to enjoy each day. It gives them a renewed lease on life.
Oh, I got it. Go. He's the king of the barnyard. Yeah.
Pops is probably about 30 years old. He'd been living in a field by himself for about 20 years. It was not an act of overt cruelty. A man had moved onto the property, had no idea how to care for a horse, did not realize that horses needed to have their hoofs trimmed. Consequently, for 10 years, 20 years, Pops's feet were never trimmed.
Come on, baby.
I couldn't believe he could step off the trailer. I couldn't understand how a horse could walk.
By the time we got him, his hooves had overgrown to the point where they were curled up to his knees. He couldn't lay down. He could barely walk. It had deformed his spine, his hips. It had deformed his legs. Everything about him was just this mass of pain. The vets come every week and they trim them back slowly. He's walking more and more each time now. He can now walk out into the field. He can graze with the other horses. Pops was a very sweet, gentle horse. Pops was a lonely horse, and he was very happy to all of a sudden have company, to have care.
Pops! He's come a long way.
Everybody's touched by his story, but mostly everybody's touched with what a kind horse he is.
Yeah, Pops is pretty special.
Animals, more than anything, they want to enjoy their lives. So most days it's joyful here. It's interesting. There is always something going on. There's always company around. They never feel lonely. They have lots of physical activity. They can go out to the barns, they can go out to the fields, they can swim in the pond. There's toys to play with. They can get up and down on the furniture. There's very few rules. They play with each other. So, I mean, in that sense, it's like a birthday party that goes on constantly.
What you doing?
I tell people time and time again, I'm not a dog trainer. I don't care if they can sit. Most of our guys are deaf anyways. We hope that we're able to find them homes. Unfortunately, most of them we won't. But in the meantime, they're still enjoying the time that they have here.
It's just so positive here.
Oh, yeah.
They're really allowed to be themselves and be recognized for that and loved.
So now you're happy.
It is an amazing place.
Yeah, he likes apples, bananas, strawberries, blueberries, treats. Oh, he's gonna come, he knows my voice. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Mo has always sung to the pigs.
Needs now is love, sweet love.
The pigs like it. As soon as you start singing to them, their little tails start going back and forth.
We don't need
Each of the volunteers have their special moments, their special things with the animals. So there's all these special moments that are going on all the time that, you know, sometimes you know about and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you see them, sometimes you miss them. But they're happening for the animals, and I think that's pretty great.
Mmm, yummy. This is for Gideon. Gideon has a hard time eating the hay.
It's a tragedy, I think, when an animal that still is enjoying life and still has love to give and receive shouldn't die. They shouldn't lose their life because they're old.
So are you actually going to hand feed a cat?
Well, no, I just hold the bowl for him.
We really have the best group of volunteers that I've ever met.
You want to Saturday morning, Sunday morning breakfast?
You can't buy that. You can't buy that kind of commitment. You can't buy that kind of dedication. You can't buy that kind of support. It's something that's just so freely given that it's really a blessing. They have one common goal when they come here, which is to make sure on the day that they're here, our animals are happy and well cared for.
Hello, Fergie. Look at you, little one-eyed Fergie.
When you have as many animals as we have living on site, it is absolutely critical that it is clean. That means every single day, every single area gets stripped down, bleached, washed.
Have you ever done so much laundry in your life?
No.
We do 15 to 20 loads of laundry a day. You can't have a facility for animals and not have it clean. You know, bottom line, these guys are 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. They're old, and any kind of health crisis can be life-threatening.
How old is this dog?
He's 12 or 13 years old now. Things can change for them on a dime, and when it changes, it's usually fairly dramatic, and it's usually a crisis.
Okay, and we're bringing
It's a full grand mal. First seizure that we're aware of.
If blood work's normal, we'll probably start him on the phenobarb, just because he did have a grand mal.
The vets think it was just a grand mal seizure. So hopefully they'll put him on his IVs, let him rest. He's got some Valium on board now, which will calm him down. They'll get some blood work just to make sure there's nothing else going on with him, and hopefully I'll bring him home at the end of the day.
Bye, Jack. I'll see you in a bit. Be good.
When it's their time to pass away, the hardest part of it is the decision making. When is it time? I don't think there's a person on earth who's loved an animal that hasn't had to make that decision, and that's the hardest part. They're euthanizing millions of animals down in the States every year. And so just once a year, we bring up 5 broken old dogs. Larry was one of them. And Larry was one of the biggest gifts I've ever had in my entire life. His bones were all fused together. He could barely walk. Everybody who looked at him said, "Is that a pig?" He was missing his hair. His tongue hung out. You know, he probably really wasn't that attractive. He had a huge tumor hanging from his chin. And he just turned into this dog who absolutely loved it here. This was the best place he'd ever been, and went, "Yes, I'm home," and did really well. We finally lost him about a year later. His arthritis just got so bad he couldn't get up anymore. We were at the maximum with his pain medications. There was nothing more we could do for him. He stopped having fun, and that's the bottom line. When they're not enjoying themselves anymore, it's time to let them go. And so we let him go, but I don't think I'll ever forget Larry. He made me smile every time I looked at him. We all hope that animals will peacefully die in their sleep. Doesn't happen. They usually have crises of one kind or another. With Jack, he did pass away. He continued to have seizure activity. The last couple that he had were pretty significant. He was totally paralyzed. He wasn't able to get up or move. He could only move his head. He was in liver failure, and the toxins from his liver were building up in his bloodstream, and that's what was causing his seizure. We did keep him comfortable, and he did pass peacefully away. When they're not enjoying themselves anymore, when we can't control their pain, it's time to let them go. We have about 30 to 50 deaths a year. I think sometimes people think we kind of get used to it. We don't get used to it. They're our friends. When each animal passes away, we hang a wind chime for them.
They represent those that have passed, those that came to Saints and have passed. And it really is quite moving to be sitting in there and have a gust of wind go by and hear all the different chimes going.
It's how you meet your end. And can your end be peaceful and pain-free and kind and gentle? And so when our guys pass away, if we've given them a good life and then we've given them a good death, then we've done our job. One of the biggest adjustments for them when they're coming here is all of a sudden the freedom that they're given to be dogs. You know, as they're slopping through the mud, you know, up to their elbows, and they're rolling in a cow patty somewhere, or they're chasing frogs along the side of the pond, and nobody bugs them about it. And there's a freedom in that.
No, you're just waiting.
Even the tiny little poodles that we get in from senior citizens that have lived in apartments their whole lives, they embrace the farm life. They get out there and wow, they just start having a blast because they might be tiny little poofy poodles, but under it all, they're still a dog. I would like to see a time where society as a whole values the aging process and those that are aging. I'd like to see shelters and pounds not so afraid to maybe give the really old wrecked seniors a bit of a chance. Sometimes it's just a grooming and a bath and some pain pills, and all of a sudden you've got a totally different dog. Bottom line is that these guys are here because human beings didn't care for them. For whatever reason, we decided we wanted to breed them, we wanted to buy them, we wanted to have them. And then in the end, we didn't keep our end of the bargain.
Yeah. Oh, he's a good boy.
We get so much from the animals themselves. We're better people than we were 5 or 6 years ago. I think we're more compassionate towards human beings. I think we're more respectful of just the whole value of life itself. I don't know about how anybody else feels, but when I die, I want to die on a high note. I want to die feeling that my life had value, that I was loved, and that I was cared for. And I think that's what Saints is all about. We want these animals to die on a high note. We want them to feel that there was a purpose to their being here. They weren't just here to be used and abused and discarded. They were here, they had value, they were loved, life is over.